In today's video lecture, we will understand a very wonderful story from first book, The Great Stone Face, Part 1 and Part 2 by Nathaniel Hawthorne, a very famous story writer. And the story is on a very unique topic, that is stone faces. The great stone face was the work of a nature. As you see in the image, the stone face, if you see it from a far distance, you find some face resemblance. But if you go very close by it, you see a simple rock, a heap of rocks. Same in the story, it was formed on the side of a mountain by some rocks, and seen from a distance, means these rocks looked like a human face and very lively and alive. But going near, the face turned into a heap of rocks, and the people believed that the valley owned much of its fertility to that stone face rock only, to that human face resembled rock. As the valley was rich in fertility, so people started believing this, that whatever they had today or that day, they all owned much of it from that great stone face. Another perfect example of stone face you see here too more. This way, you if you see at a far distance rocks or trees, you find that they resemble to some face. After having a look at the great work by nature, as we saw four images, let's start with the chapter. These are some list of difficult words which will come through going through the story. Immense means huge, huge mountain. Big and enormous, again very big. Perpendicular, it is describing a cliff or rock facing rising very steeply. Clustering, gathering. Benign means very kind and gentle, as the boy in the story. Earnest, being very kind. Prophecy means a statement that tells what will happen in the future. Pensive mood, pensive, we generally use it for describing mood that is very thoughtful. A few more words: inhabitants, labor, sympathies. Beheld means behold, saw, see, seeing something, and kind of more words. Now let's begin with the story. So one day, a mother and her little child, Ernest, sat at the door of their cottage. He wished that the great stone face could speak to that boy. The mother hoped to see a man sometime with a similar face. She, as the mother, used to tell him stories about that. She herself had heard in her childhood days about that someday a man will born or someone will born with a similar face that resemble to great rock mountain, and a great man bearing that stone face would be born someday. That was actually a universal prophecy in that valley or in that village. So the mother and son were talking about that because it the rock was clearly visible in the bright sunshine. Thousands of people lived there. Everybody there was familiar with the great stone face. It was the work of the nature actually. One day the great stone face smiled on Ernest and looked very kindly to him. He wished to hear its pleasant voice. He longed to see a man with such a face in order to love him dearly. So there was a man called Gathergold. He had left his native money many years ago. He had become quite rich man there. So he decided to return to his native valley. So there was a rumor that the man called Gathergold looked like the great stone face. People say that Gathergold had the face of an old man with yellow skin, but people say that he looked like it. but reality was fall apart. The people considered him the image of the great stone face, and Ernest also gazed up the valley. The great stone face seemed to reject Gathergold as its likeness. As per the opinion of that little bright child Ernest, he did not resemble to that great stone face. But people started saying such way. So, as Ernest did not agree with these people's opinion, because as people welcomed that gather gold, a great man, because they saw some resemblance between stone face and him. So this way years went on, and Ernest grew to be a young man. Everybody he would go off by himself and gaze upon the great stone face. He wondered why its likeness was delaying its appearance. So by this time, Gathergold had become poor and died without establishing his likeness with the stone face. And after a son of the valley had joined the army as a soldier many years before, he had become a journal by then and came to be known as Blood and Thunder, someone a new candidate on the battle. In his old age, he desired to return to his valley again, and people considered him as the likeness of the great stone face. Like earlier, they called a person called Gathergold and they declared that he resembled to stone face. Similarly, in the second case, people started spreading a rumor that a man called Blood and Thunder resembled to that. So on his return, he was again welcomed warmly. The gathering mistook him as the greatest man of all time. Ernest failed to recognize any likeness in him. Blood and Thunder and the great stone face. His heart assured him that the real face had still to come. So Ernest was still in the quest of that final truth, and for now he was pretty sure that the man, Blood and Thunder, did not resemble to Great Stone Face. And his heart, means that boy's heart, assured him that such a man would someday come or live. So, as we read in the story second part, that the person called Blood and Thunder came to his valley. He had become a famous commander, no doubt, and the people turned him blindly and accepted him as the great stone face. But Ernest could not see any similarity between them. Now, so the story continues in the second part, the great stone face part 2. These are certain difficult words with meanings. You can understand them and check about them and see the usage part in your book. So, years rolled by, passed by, and Ernest was now a middle aged man. Age brought white hair upon his head, grey hair, and wrinkles across his face. But it also made him very wise as he was very submissive and gentle from his very childhood. So he became famous in the valley. I'm talking about that boy called Ernest. And became a learned man. And he learned from cities, came to see him and talk with him. So he was a renowned fellow in that area. Ernest still lived in the same place. He was simple-hearted man. He always worked for the betterment of the world. Though he was considered to be an ordinary man, yet he was humble and rich in thoughts, wise. So, with the passage of time, Ernest became old. He had wise thoughts in his mind. He had become famous all over the world. Men came from distant places to see him and speak to him. A new poet had appeared on earth while Ernest had been growing old. So again a third character came, a new poet has came in that city, being again known as good poet. So the poet was a native of Ernest's Valley again, but had stayed in distant cities for a long period. The poet had heard of Ernest's character. One day he came to his door. Ernest was reading a book and glancing lovingly at the mountain from time to time. So Ernest gave him shelter for the night. The great stone face looked kindly at the poet. The poet found Ernest wise, gentle, and kind. So both the people appreciated each other as Ernest appreciated him. Similarly, the poet too had heard of Ernest's wisdom and wished to meet him. So that's why he met him. He had a shelter at his place. Okay. So Ernest used to speak to his neighbors every evening that the poet also accompanied him. The poet listened to his talk. He felt that Ernest's life and character were a far nobler kind of poetry than his own poems. Just them. The poet saw the great stone face just against him, and he declared Ernest as the likeness of the great stone face. Everybody agreed with him. Means the poet said that Ernest resembled to that great stone face, and actually Ernest was that fellow to whom people the prophecy was there that someday such a boy will take birth who face will resemble to great stone face. But Ernest did not agree that. Ernest still hoped that someone who would be wiser and better than himself would appear sometime, someday, later in future. And the person should be bearing a likeness to the great stone face. Means he was so humble, so polite, so simple that he, even after seeing people's and the poet's statement, he did not accept it that he actually is the person resembling to great stone person. But as we could read that story and understand that he was really that fellow who would resemble that great mountain face. As we read earlier, that poet spoke that Ernest was the real likeness of that stone face. People also agreed him. And finally, in the story, you see, story end with a very good note that the prophecy was fulfilled. The poet thought so, but Ernest still kept hoping that some wiser and better man than himself would appear, looking very much like the stone face. So, with the character of Ernest, we can learn many things. Ernest was truly noble and humble person. His deeds actually matched with the thoughts. He received the poet warmly, and for a while he thought the writer of those poems was truly the greatest and wisest person. But the poet and the other people ultimately hailed him as the man with the likeness of Stoneface. But Ernest did not agree. He kept hoping that a wiser pen better than him would someday come, and then only it will be true that the prophecy has come true. Fine. So it proved that Ernest remained humble to the last. And the great people are like this only. They never consider themselves as great. They always remain cool and humble and submissive, like Ernest in the story. So basically, three characters. Let's learn about them. Ernest. The most important character is Ernest. In the beginning of the book, he was a little boy who lived with his mother in the village where he was born. Further, through the story, he became a very old and wise man. Second character is Ernest's mother. The most important character after Ernest was his mom. She told Ernest the story behind the great stone face. She told Ernest that great stone face was the piece of nature, a gift of nature, creation of nature, and gather gold as well. The first man the people thought who was the look alike of the great stone face was a shopkeeper. His name was Gather Gold. He was a very rich man and he had lots of diamonds and pearls. That's why he may be given that name, Gather Gold. And two, three more general characters in the story were there. And there's an old story. The second man the people thought who was look like Great Stone Face was a journal. The people called him Old Blood and Thunder. This man had a strong will and a hard face, but not the wisdom and the love of the Great Stone Face. And you see the more character. Third man the people thought was the great stone face resembling person was a great statesman. People called him Old Stony, but he also wasn't the man that they were looking for because he did not have the warm smile like the great stone face. Let's have a look at interesting episode of the story. The end of the book was the most fascinating part. He was inspired by one thing, and that was the great stone face. He told the people of the village some important things. The people were where he talked to saw that Ernest himself was the great stone face. But Ernest was still hoping that some wiser and better man than himself would appear. So, bearing the likeness of the great stone face, I didn't expect, means narrator didn't expect that Ernest was the likeness of the great stone face. That was narrator's opinion or Ernest's opinion about himself. Literary analysis of the story, imagination. The whole story goes about the great stone face. The great stone face was a work of nature. Rain and wind actually had carved out or cut this face out into the side of a mountain. Now it looked like the face of a man. It had a high forehead, a long nose, and great lips. The great stone face, a big face of stone. The story goes about some kind of love between this legendary story and Ernest. And the story is about that prophecy. End of the story. In the end of the story, the people where he talked to saw that Ernest himself was the great stoneface. But Ernest was still hoping that he was not actually the great resemblance of great stoneface, but someone who would be wiser, better man than himself would appear, bearing who would be bearing all likeness of the great stone face, not only smile and wisdom. This way you can see, you may have found somewhere stone faces. Thank you so much for joining, listening, watching the video. I request you all, please go through the text again, read the story. I believe you will find it very interesting and loaded with much of moral and strength for us. Thank you for listening. Thank you.